So I'm here at our retreat that we do in Jamaica at the Saab Resort. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about my own journey on the path of Kemetic Yoga. When I was 14 years old, I decided that I wanted to experience a lot of different things that was going on in the culture at the time. Let me see, that must have been around 1967 or so. I decided that I was going to experiment with drugs in order to explore the mind, so to speak. I began to smoke marijuana, I used alcohol. I also eventually got into using acid, mescaline, other types of mind-altering substances, right? The attempt to try to experience a different aspect of reality that it was said that these substances were going to expose me to. I was on this path from the age of 14 until I was 21. My birthday is on October 17th. On October 18th, I woke up and I decided I should stop using all drugs and alcohol and I should become a vegan. And so on that day, I gave up meat, I gave up dairy products, I gave up sugar, and I embarked on a path of being a fruitarian. I became a fruitarian because I had no idea of how to prepare vegan meals. So all I would do is eat fruit, I would eat nuts, I would eat seeds, and I would drink herbal teas, water, and juice. That's all I had. At that point, I didn't know about yoga, but I did know about a concept called astral projection. So I would try to take myself into deep states of meditation so that I can release my spirit or my soul from my body and be able to travel and do things, what they call astral projection. I also was a fitness enthusiast. So I would run 5 miles each day. I would do 1,000 sit-ups and 500 push-ups every day, as well as do my meditation. After about 1 year of being on this regimen, I was introduced to yoga. And so my first yoga class was with my master teacher, whose name is Dr. Azar Hapi, on the west side of Chicago. I have never studied with anybody from India. All of my study has been with Dr. Azar Hapi or on my own self-study in my own path of self-discovery. So I studied intensely with Dr. Hapi for 1 year. And then I took my own path and I started to do my own research, my own traveling until yoga and Kemetic Yoga was being developed. At the same time that I was practicing and studying Kemetic Yoga and trying to do the research to help to expand the foundation of Kemetic Yoga. We didn't know about Kemetic Yoga in the beginning. Kemetic Yoga had to be something that was discovered. I learned how to read the Medu Neter, what's called hieroglyphs, from Dr. Jacob Carruthers when I worked on a master's degree at the Center for Inner City Study, Northeastern Illinois University in Chicago. This was in the late 1970s and the early 1980s. I learned how to do research. I learned the African-centered perspective, and I was able to put together, with this knowledge of our history and the philosophy of ancient Africa, along with the ideas of the movements and the postures from ancient Kemet. Some years later, I started to travel to Egypt. I have been to Egypt 25 times. And I do research by looking at the walls of the temples, by going inside the pyramids. Part of my research is not just reading or interpreting different texts or interpreting different symbols on the walls. Part of my research is to actually go inside of the temples, go inside of the pyramids and actually meditate. and to experience what information I'm able to draw down from my spirit guides, from the ancestors. This is something that each individual person has the ability to do. It's nothing special about me doing it. It's just this is part of my process. And so there are many aspects of Kemetic Yoga which has been learned using this process. And as people practice Kemetic Yoga, and as they go to places, as they go to these sacred places where the energy is moving from the vortexes from the earth, like under the pyramids, under the temples, under these various sacred sites that these sites are built upon, they start to have these experiences of transcendent consciousness and being able to draw information and insight from the ancestors and also from the divine forces, which we call the Necharu in ancient Kemet. My path has led me to become a teacher of Kemetic Yoga. It has led me to gain a master's degree in social work and become a master social worker, administrator in child welfare field, to train children in Kemetic Yoga throughout Chicago and other places around the country, other places around the world. It has allowed me to form the first Kemetic Yoga teacher training and certification course that has now trained and certified at least 5,000 people around the world. We see Kemetic Yoga as part of our liberation process. It's a cog in the machine that deals with understanding health and wellness, the management of stress, the release of our attachments to drugs, to alcohol, to cigarettes, and to various types of foods that we know are not really food, but are actually drugs masquerading as food. We try to liberate ourselves from attraction and addiction to animal products that we know are unhealthy for us, fried chicken, beef, pork, and to sugar. Sugar was used as the reason to bring us to the Western Hemisphere as slaves, to grow sugar for the European sweet tooth. We were enslaved and taken from our continent, taken from our lands, in order to cultivate this crop called sugarcane for these European people. And so it is almost an insult to yourself and to your ancestors for you to ever consume this white poison. It causes decay of the teeth as well as dementia in older people and causes hyperactivity and misbehaving in children. We have to liberate ourselves from all of these different substances, which are drugs masquerading as foods. My path on Kemetic Yoga has brought me not just from being a person who does yoga and wants to go into meditation and separate himself from everybody else. My path of Kemetic Yoga is to become a social activist. When I was in college, I started the Black student organizations to fight against apartheid, to fight against various types of policies that had a negative effect upon Black students. And so my path, even to this day, when I travel to Gambia, when I travel to Brazil, when I go to South Africa, when I go to Jamaica, there's always a social activist community transformation part of my mission that I try to fulfill. And so most people who come into Kemetic Yoga, they have a consciousness that they want to be change agents. They want to be those individual people, bringers of light, who bring light to our people and enlighten them and bring us to a higher level of vibrational frequency and a higher level of intellectual and spiritual functioning, so that we can become self-realized in terms of knowing who we really are, what our true nature is. And once we discover our true nature And we liberate ourselves from religion, which only gives us fear and guilt. We liberate ourselves from religion and we become self-realized. We understand what is our true nature and our true power. And then we become self-actualized, where we put this understanding of our true self into action. And we're able to create our own reality. And we connect with our ancestors, and we connect with our divine forces, which the European religions are telling us is voodoo and evil and so on and so forth. But we want to connect with those divine energies, and we want to use those forces as a means for liberation. Okay? So the ocean is talking to me. Oshun is talking to me. Right? And so that's where we are. So Hotep, Uncle Jacinel, thank you for listening.